Meeting is now called to order. If you would all stand, please, Regina Crowder will deliver the invocation.
Let us bow our heads in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for watching over us and keeping us throughout the day and allowing us to come to assemble ourselves today for this business of the village of Rantoul. We ask that you will be in the midst, give us wisdom, give us guidance and direction as we make the decisions that need to be made for everyone. We ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Sam, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Madam Clerk, would you do a roll call, please?
Mayor Smith,
Here.
Trustee Wilson,
Here.
Trustee Robertson,
Here.
Trustee Kreider,
Here.
Trustee Hall,
Here.
Trustee Workman,
Here.
Trustee Weathersby.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, very good. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next is the approval of the agenda. Board, I'm not aware of any changes to the agenda for this evening, so I'll present the agenda as presented. And do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second, Kreider.
Is there any discussion on the agenda? I'm seeing none. Madam Clerk?
Trustee Hall,
Aye.
Trustee Workman,
Aye.
Trustee Weathersby,
Aye.
Trustee Wilson,
Aye.
Trustee Robertson,
Aye.
Trustee Kreider.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
All right, very good. Ladies and gentlemen, we're at that portion of the evening on the agenda for public participation. I'll just read this as I always do. As citizens wishing to address the village board with respect to any item of business listed on the agenda or any matter not appearing on the agenda are asked to sign up at the public participation form and submit it to the village clerk prior to the meeting. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes for each speaker. Madam Clerk, how many do we have?
We have 5 speakers tonight.
5 speakers tonight. All right, very good. You may call your first speaker.
Miss Lee McMahon,
Okay. Ready when you are, Lee. Lee, we need to get your microphone on.
I started my employment with the village on the last day of the fiscal year, and I can know it was audit prep. Even in this busy time, I was providing the time and service to the fighting to my job and for my ability to continue in my career success. 5 years later, I can with 100% confidence say that Ann Schultz is more than capable and deserving of the position of comptroller. Her competency in all aspects of local, state,
Miss Jade Ray.
Okay.
Is the microphone on? Mhm.
Jay, you might want to test the mic before you start.
Hello?
Yeah, that's good.
Hi. I just want to say that this is my third time speaking, and I just don't feel like any of you are listening. Especially you, Chief Brown. Therefore, instead of actually believing you will listen, here's some things to catch you off guard about your young black youth dying in your community. Is it because they're not white and come from a popular last name? You know, I had it prepared to play a 45-second clip of Amy Richardson and Alana Richardson walking up on Jordan being shot, murdered. But this woman is here tonight, and I'm not going to traumatize her anymore, especially like Gary Wilson just tried to do by saying he was in the ambulance with Jordan. What purpose did that serve, sir? This woman has gone through it. She sees Jerry King in the freaking community, everywhere she goes. This is haunting. For one, for two, there's no reason that Jeremiah should have been under arrest that day. If they were there to tow the car, you're under arrest for your car being towed? It just doesn't make sense. And Amy and Alana's were never asked to give a statement, even though they were witnesses on that scene. If you guys don't do something now, after all of this peaceful protesting, actual legal knowledge presented to you to show that 2 of your officers should be in jail for homicide, you are no better than the KKK. If you think Azan and John's murders were justified, respectfully, you're dumb. If you want to gain statistics to this case, you cannot, without a doubt, take his mother and sister's witness testimony. Azan and Jordan were killed in cold blood because neither the RPD or the board members care about the humanity of anyone in their community who is not white and rich. I pray that God will create obstacles for anyone who cannot take the courage to really see what you have going on in the town to the people who are not white. You need to wake up. You are just as useless like Jerry King adjusting his private parts while EMTs work on Jordan, who was already rendered unconscious. This is disgusting. He just murdered a man and he's adjusting his private parts. Please explain to me where this is appropriate. It's almost like he got off on it. I have been nice, educational, and informative, but there's been no change. You haven't responded to our petition. We've been nice. We've been very respectful. I just don't understand why there is complete silence after all of this that we've gone through. So now I say you must deal with the intelligent wrath that I'm going to bring. Oh, and by the way, Scott Eisenhower is also a threat to the society, and he should not be on the board.
I won't stop that right now. Next speaker.
Luke.
Can you hear me? So, I don't know how to raise this. Is there a way to raise this up?
Yes, there is. Just turn that little.
You just pull
yeah,
it.
right there. There you go.
Okay, thank you. So this is my first time speaking here. I think it's inexcusable that the village of Rantoul refuses to take any action surrounding the deaths of Zon Lee and Jordan Richardson. Despite several people coming before this board in a petition signed by over 700 people calling for action, you've failed to do anything, and that's unacceptable. Like, Zon and Jordan are dead because of the inability of RPD to adequately perform their duties. We know for a fact that Azan committed no crime. The car had already been located by the time he was stopped by RPD. We know for a fact that Officer Aceves admitted to shooting Azan in a Metcad recording, and that Sergeant King had to write a new statement because he lied and said Azan shot himself in King's first statement. There's also been no evidence provided that Jordan committed any crime. RPD approached the car in which Jordan was a passenger mere moments after his mother dropped him off. We know it wasn't Jordan's car. Jordan was not detained and had no legal obligation to remain in the vicinity. And further, it's very obvious that in the video footage that Jordan, he wasn't threatening Sergeant King. Jordan was on the ground, didn't have the gun in his hand when King shot him. And regardless, running from the cops should never be a death sentence. I also want to say, not only is the board allowing cops to just kill people in the village, they've also appointed Scott Eisenhower to investigate King's racist social media activity. The pictures that I don't think anyone who has I just want to say that people demand that this board requests an investigation by the Attorney General's office into the killings of Jordan and Azan, and that you immediately remove Eisenhower from his position. Officer Aceves and Sergeant King and Eisenhower are, at this point, all threats to public safety. Thank you.
J.L. King.
Thank you. Did I catch that right? Did you just say we should jail King? I agree. Can I get you to say we should jail Officer Aceves, too? No? Can you at least commit to taking him off the force? I'll take that as a no as well. We've been here week after week. We have over 700 signatures on a petition calling for justice, and a few of those 700 are here to talk to you tonight. Can you at least commit to a real investigation, calling the Attorney General's office and filing a complaint for him to look into? No? It's not that hard. We're working on filling one out right now. Still no? Y'all know Aceves admitted to murder on the body cam, right? You know he falsified the initial police report. Or do you just not care? I was told that this was a democracy, that we, the people, elected representatives to represent us and make decisions for the good of the community. What have you done for the community? What have you done for your people? We are the people. But when I look at all of you sitting up there, I don't see a democracy. When I look at Chief Brown and the RPD who kill kids in the street and then hide inside their station when we come peacefully, quietly with a petition, I don't see democracy. When I look over to the jail where another black man, Ray Quinn Jr., just died, joining over a dozen others, I don't see democracy. When I look at the state's attorney, Julia Reitz, who's been in power for 20 years, unopposed and clears cops of wrongdoing every time they kill someone, I don't see a democracy. When I look all across this beautiful county, there's not democracy in sight. Not our workplaces where the boss decides who gets fired and who gets what shift. Not our schools where budgets are cut and cops are put in the classroom to pull black kids out of class. Not on the streets where cops serve as judge, jury, and executioner. And certainly not here at the Rantoul Village Board. The cops out here are supposed to serve and protect us, but they don't. The board is supposed to serve and represent us, but you don't. There's no democracy for us. The cops only serve and protect the rich. The board only serves and represents the rich. There's democracy for them, protection for them. Lord knows there's protection for them. Jerry King and Jose Aceves got protection from prosecution for their crimes. The board got protection from all of us, and they sit on their hands. Scott Eisenhower, somewhere right there, has protection despite being a serial domestic abuser and stalker. If he thinks he's on a mission from God to protect a woman who doesn't want to talk to him and then starts choking people, he shouldn't be in this room. He shouldn't be overseeing or administering anything. And if he thinks what he did was bad enough for him to step back and try and resign, who are all of you to stop him from stepping back? You're acting like you're more concerned about protecting Eisenhower than you are about putting the interests of working class people in Rantoul first. Do the right thing. File an AG complaint. It's not that hard.
Time's up.
Derek Briles.
Surprisingly, I'm here with you again tonight, as I have been previously, representing the Prairie Liberation Action Network, who is working with the grieving family members who were murdered by your police officers. Again, asking you to do something. I mean, why don't you should have just taken a victory lap, right? You could have done some sort of performative action to pacify people. You won't even do that. Like, what a disgusting and abhorrent miscarriage of justice and disrespect for the people of your village and for this county. To do nothing. You have my contact information. I filled out form after form with my number, with my organization's mailing address on it. You've done nothing. You've not contacted me. You've not taken any action to launch an investigation. You sit here and you do nothing. And that's all you're ever going to do is nothing. You're not going to file a complaint. You're going to try to weather this storm out. But like I told you last time, it's not going to work. We're not going to go away. You're not going to just get to forget about this. Every single one of you are now responsible for your inaction, for your dereliction of duty. You are responsible. Chief Brown, you are responsible for the conduct of your officers who absolutely violated the Fourth Amendment of Azan and Jordan, for falsifying police reports, for withholding information. Village Administrator Eisenhower, you're responsible for being a fucking creep, but also for not carrying out an investigation about the racist and insensitive social media posts from Sergeant King. I'm sure you were probably too busy abusing women to finish that investigation.
Hey.
I don't believe it is. I believe I have 3 minutes to speak. And you can speak whenever it's your time to speak, Trustee Wilson. I don't need your opinion right now. You need to do your job. I am here as a concerned citizen, taking time out of my day. I'm not paid to be here. I'm doing this on my own. I'm trying to help these people get some justice. I'm not here for your backsass and asinine insults, sir. I am not here for that. If you want to show that you are a person of quality and that you care and that you have something to say, I am giving you an opportunity to do that. We are asking you to contact the Attorney General, to file a complaint. You can do that. You can take an action. You can make this right, but you choose not to. And it's insanely frustrating for us to have to keep doing this. Do something, please.
That ends our
I want it to
public.
be known right now that I will not put up with profanity. Next time I hear profanity in here, you'll be excused.
I don't see that on your rules.
Well, you just heard it.
You don't make the rules, Mayor.
Okay.
I agree totally. We should not have to listen to profanity from anybody coming here speaking to us. And if we have to make a rule to do that, we'll do it.
I'll get you some bigger pearls for you to clutch.
Oh, my God.
Can we get rid of him?
That concludes our public participation, Mayor.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
You know, by statistics, it's
All right, let's move on.
Eisenhower is technically bound to kill somebody, domestic violence. You better do something.
Have a good night.
Not you.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Can I say something, Mayor? Really simple.
Yeah, Jerry, or
So
Gary.
before the meeting, I went out and told Miss Richardson that I was very sorry, having lost a son before. I approached her and told her I was really sorry that she had lost a son, and that I was riding in the back of the ambulance trying to save this kid's life. That I was more upset not only of his losing his life, but of a parent losing a child. And then for them to turn that, that's wrong. You know, there's Donald and myself have both lost children. There was no greater pain than losing a child, and I tried to explain that.
That's right.
For them to turn that on that, so I want to say I'm sorry if that offended anybody, but
Yeah. Well,
I can tell you this, I'm not going to sit here and listen to people use foul language as an elected official, and I don't have to.
well, I've been sitting in this chair almost 11 years, and that's the first time I've heard that here. So that's...
I'm not going to sit here and
No,
listen to it if
no.
it happens again.
Yeah, so,
If I may, and I mean, it's right, there, it isn't stated in our public policy, in our public participation policy, but I'm all for putting it, because you're right, everyone's right. You can say what you want, but you can say it in a way that
that's respectful.
is not profane.
That's right. Exactly right. All right, maybe we need to address that. Okay, all right. All right, let's move into Section A, Consent Agenda. This has got to do with the approval of the consent agenda by ominous vote. I always read this for the public because those of you viewing out there, you can't see it. So it's all items under the consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted by a single motion and subsequent roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a village board member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered as the first item after the approval of the consent agenda. The items this evening on the consent agenda are: item A, minutes of the November 7, 2023 board study session. Item B, minutes of the November 14, 2023 board meeting. Item C is the board meeting schedule for 2024, and item D are all bills and monthly financial reports. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion on any of the items, or do you want to withdraw one and discuss it separately? I'm hearing nothing. Madam Clerk, you may do the roll call.
Trustee Hall.
Aye.
Trustee Workman.
Aye.
Trustee Weathersby.
Aye.
Trustee Wilson.
aye.
Trustee Robertson.
Aye.
Trustee Kreider.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item 8 is the any items removed from the consent agenda, and there were none, so we'll move into Section B, consideration of bids, contracts, and other expenditures. Let me get this over. Motion to authorize waiving the formal bidding process, and motion to authorize and approve the purchase of 1,500 feet of 350 MCM CU wire for electric department from Annexer Power Solutions in the amount of $40,575. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second, Kreider.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. The item is open for discussion. Any discussion on the item? I'm not hearing any discussion. Madam Clerk, you may do the roll call.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Robertson.
Aye.
Trustee Kreider.
Aye.
Trustee Hall.
Aye.
Trustee Workman.
Aye.
Trustee Weathersby.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
Okay, very good. Item 10, a motion to authorize waiving the formal bidding process and motion to authorize and approve the purchase of three-phase 12 MVA 13.8 kV, 69,000 kV pad mount transformer for the electric department from Sunbelt Salmon in the amount of $425,000. Is there a motion?
So moved, Weathersby.
Second.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any discussion of the item? Madam Clerk, I'm not seeing any questions. You may do the roll call.
Trustee Weathersby.
Aye.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Robertson?
Aye.
Trustee Kreider?
Aye.
Trustee Hall?
Aye.
Trustee Workman?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
All right, item 11 is a motion to authorize and approve the purchase of switchgear equipment for the Prospect Substation upgrades from PowerCon Corporate in the amount of $1,838,115. That's $1,838,115. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. Board, is there any discussion? I'm hearing no discussion, Madam Clerk. You may do the roll call.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Trustee Robertson?
Aye.
Trustee Kreider?
Aye.
Trustee Hall?
Aye.
Trustee Workman?
Aye.
Trustee Weathersby?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
Okay. Section C, consideration of ordinance and resolution. Item 12. Motion to approve ordinance 2757, an ordinance authorizing and approving an agreement for the sale of real estate owned by the village, 711 Chandler Road, Prairie Pines Campground. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second, Weathersby.
We have a motion on the floor with an active second. Is there any discussion on this topic?
Build it and they will come.
Yes, okay. Any other comments or remarks? Madam Clerk, you may do the roll call.
Trustee Hall?
Aye.
Trustee Workman?
Aye.
Trustee Weathersby?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Trustee Robertson?
Aye.
Trustee Kreider?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item 13 is a motion to pass Resolution 12-23-1401, a resolution authorizing and approving a development agreement with the Rantoul Warehouse Group, LLC, for 711 Chandler Road Campground. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Weathersby.
All right, we have a motion on the floor with a second. Is there any discussion on this topic? Okay, I'm not seeing any discussion whatsoever. Madam Clerk?
Trustee Hall?
Aye.
Trustee Workman?
Aye.
Trustee Weathersby?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Trustee Robertson?
Aye.
Trustee Kreider?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
All right, very good. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Move on to item 14 is a motion to pass Resolution 12-23-1402, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an agreement concerning the appointment to the position of comptroller and specifying the compensation and other benefits in connection with such appointment. Schultz, is there a motion?
So moved, Weathersby.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor and a second. Is there any discussion? I'm hearing no discussion, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Weathersby?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Trustee Robertson?
Aye.
Trustee Kreider?
Aye.
Trustee Hall?
Aye.
Trustee Workman?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
All right, very good. And Angie, congratulations. Yes, you may.
Yeah, come on.
You may. All right.
Campground.
Item 15 is a motion to approve ordinance 2750, an ordinance amending Article 1 of Chapter 24, Personnel of the Code in connection with employment policies. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? I'm seeing no discussion, Madam Clerk. You may do the roll call.
Trustee Hall?
Aye.
Trustee Workman?
Aye.
Trustee Weathersby?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Trustee Robertson?
Aye.
Trustee Kreider?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
Okay. All right, thank you. Item 16, a motion to approve ordinance, I'm sorry, did I miss 15? No, okay.
No.
I'm a little bit upset by what's happened, so forgive me. Item 16, a motion to approve ordinance 2752, an ordinance authorizing an abatement of a tax levy for the 2023 tax levy for the general obligation bond series 2013A as authorized by ordinance 2358. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second, Weathersby.
Board, is there any discussion? I'm hearing no discussion. Madam Clerk, you may do a roll call.
Trustee Robertson?
Aye.
Trustee Kreider?
Aye.
Trustee Hall?
Aye.
Trustee Workman?
Aye.
Trustee Weathersby?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
All right, very good. Item 17, a motion to approve ordinance 2753, an ordinance authorizing the abatement of a tax levy for the 2023 tax levy for the general obligation bond series 2015 as authorized by ordinance 2410. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second, Kreider.
All right, we have a motion on the floor with a second. Is there any discussion? Okay. Madam Clerk.
Trustee, excuse me. Trustee Robertson?
Aye.
Trustee Kreider?
Aye.
Trustee Hall?
Aye.
Trustee Workman?
Aye.
Trustee Weathersby?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
Okay. Item 18, a motion to approve ordinance 2754, an ordinance authorizing the abatement of tax levy for 2023 tax levy for general obligation bonds series 2016 as authorized by ordinance number 2472. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any discussion? I'm hearing no discussion. Madam Clerk, you may do a roll call.
Trustee Robertson?
Aye.
Trustee Kreider?
Aye.
Trustee Hall?
Aye.
Trustee Workman?
Aye.
Trustee Weathersby?
Aye.
Trustees Wilson?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
All right, very good. Thank you. Board item 19 is a motion to approve ordinance 2755, an ordinance authorizing the abatement of the tax levy for the 2023 tax levy for the general obligation bond series 2019 as authorized by ordinance 2617. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. It's open for discussion. Anyone have any discussion? I'm not hearing any discussion, Madam Clerk. You may do a roll call.
Trustee Workman?
Aye.
Trustee Weathersby?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Trustee Robertson?
Aye.
Trustee Kreider?
Aye.
Trustee Hall?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Item 20, a motion to approve ordinance 2756, an ordinance authorizing the abatement of tax levy for the 2023 tax levy for the general obligation bond series 2020 as authorized by ordinance 2665. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second, Weathersby.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this topic? I see no discussion, Madam Clerk.
Was that motion made by Trustee Hall?
No.
No, who made it?
Trustee Robertson?
Donald,
Thank
I
you. I
think.
did not hear that.
Yeah.
One moment, please. Ready?
Yes.
Trustee Robertson?
Aye.
Trustee Kreider?
Aye.
Trustee Hall?
Aye.
Trustee Workman?
Aye.
Trustee Weathersby?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
All right, very good. All right, number 21, the motion to approve ordinance 2751, an ordinance levying taxes for the 2023 tax levy year. Is there a motion? Okay, Mr.
I'll
Wilson
second.
and Mr. Hall. All right, any discussion, board? All right, I see no discussion. You may do the roll call.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Trustee Robertson?
Aye.
Trustee Kreider?
Aye.
Trustee Hall?
Aye.
Trustee Workman?
Aye.
Trustee Weathersby?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
All right, very good. All right, board, the next thing I have is one public announcement, and that is our next meeting will be on January the 9th of 2024 at 6 p.m. And this is if the 2024 board meeting schedule is adopted, and it was adopted tonight. So that will be what they call a meeting of the whole. It'll be a study session and a regular board meeting together. Okay, and we've done this before, many, many times. So, all right, very good. Anyone else have a public announcement?
If I may.
Sam?
Thank you. I just want to say, be safe this holiday season. Happy holidays to all the village staff and board and residents and anybody that's listening. So have a good holiday and be safe.
All right, very good. Anyone else? All right, very good. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's to
Thank you.
everyone.
God bless everyone. Thank
All
you.
right, and now I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, Weathersby.
Okay,
Second.
we have a motion, we have a second. I don't think you need any discussion, so we'll do a roll call.
Trustee Weathersby?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Trustee Robertson?
Aye.
Trustee Kreider?
Aye.
Trustee Hall?
Aye.
Trustee Weathersby? It's Trustee Workman.
Aye.